Mazda's SUVs are growing in multiple ways. There's more of them. The ones that are coming are getting bigger. Even the numbers that are used are larger. This new trend started with the 2023 Mazda CX-50, which came in addition to the CX-5 and was a bit larger. Then we got the replacement for the CX-9, the very large 3-row CX-90, and now this, slotting in between the two, if you will, the mid-size Mazda CX-70. Now, you'd be excused to think at first glance that this in fact was a CX-90, as the CX-70 and 90 look awfully similar. And indeed, they are built on the same large platform. But the CX-70 only has 2 rows of seating, and as a result, offers more space for the cabin and the cargo area. Let's take a closer look. Looking at the front of the car, you can see that the CX-90 continues the same design language that we first saw with the CX-50, and definitely similarities to the CX-90. I do really like this kind of like tuck back, swept back headlight look. I think that looks nice, and I think Mazda does good things to add width to the front of this car with these side skirts going way out here as an example. And generally, I think it is a really good look. But maybe you're like me and more curious to know what's under the hood. And underneath this big plastic shroud lies a turbocharged 3.3 liter inline-six. Yes, that also sounds a lot like the CX-90, but please trust me, that is not a bad thing. And not only is it an inline-six, but it is a longitudinally mounted or fore-aft inline-six, which gives better weight distribution, putting more of the weight in the center of the car, puts the transmission behind the engine instead of next to it, and it allows more space either side to have different suspension geometry. Maybe this has a double wishbone suspension, just like the CX-90 as well. I've already mentioned it a couple times, so why not keep on going? Horsepower for the CX-90 is either 280 and 323 pound-feet of torque, or 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. If this is the same displacement, also turbocharged, etc., I have a feeling it might be the same horsepower as well. Either way, it's very encouraging to see that even though we lost a row between the CX-70 to the CX-90, we potentially didn't lose any horsepower. And let's keep these comparisons going. I also got a chance to look at a plug-in hybrid version of the Mazda CX-70. Let me show you that real quick. Magic has occurred, and the CX-70 has changed color, and it's changed powertrain. We are now looking at a plug-in hybrid version of the CX-70. So let's jump right to opening the hood and seeing what's inside. And there you have it, a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine attached to an electric motor and big old battery pack. This is awfully similar to what we see in the plug-in hybrid version of the CX-90. And in the plug-in hybrid CX-90, you get a total of 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Something tells me it's going to be awfully similar here, but I cannot confirm that just yet. But either way, this is a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter engine, and if it's the same as the CX-90, that would be a 17.8 kilowatt hour battery pack attached to it. I'll go ahead and put the horsepower and torque figures from the CX-90 up so you can get a reference. But just like the other CX-90, notice this is longitudinally mounted or fore-aft like that. So that means we have a front-rear chassis setup here, and that is really good for driving dynamics. So even though this is a plug-in hybrid, we have the right configuration to be good fun. Also, yes, windshield washer fluid is right here. One other thing, because this is a plug-in hybrid, we have both a gas tank and a battery pack. Gas tank's on the driver's side, you fill it up right here. The charge port is on the passenger side right here. All right, let's get back to the other CX-70. Looking at the car in profile, you can see that even though this is a 2-row SUV, it's still a very big 2-row SUV. Mazda has not yet revealed dimensions for this car, but hey, why not keep a good theme going? The dimensions of the Mazda CX-90, I'll put those up on the screen right now so you can check those out. something tells me this is going to be pretty close. And again, that's not a bad thing. The CX-90 was a good looking SUV, and this follows that form really nicely. Aside from a few details, we have the same flowing lines, the same subtle curves for fender flares, and same interesting details in the headlights and the taillights. I think this is a good looking SUV, and I don't mind seeing more versions of it, to be honest. Oh, and in case you forget, there's your reminder that it's an inline-six right there. You can get up to 21-inch wheels on the Mazda CX-70, and despite the fact that these are 21-inch wheels, you still actually have a decent hunk of sidewall here. Now, these are 45 series tires, but they're so big, it's still not bad. And yes, this is a square setup. The wheels in back are the same size as the wheels in front. Looking at the car from the back, again, very similar lines to the CX-90. However, there is one clear difference. It says CX-70 right here. I'm willing to bet that every CX-70 will be all-wheel drive, because every CX-50 is all-wheel drive and every CX-90 is all-wheel drive. And yes, every single one of these powertrains is a hybrid. This one is a mild hybrid. It's got an electric motor that helps at low RPMs. I'll go ahead and put the exact figures up on the screen right now for you to see. And also, that might help with towing. Yes, the CX-70 will be able to tow 5,000 pounds. Finally, we do have dual exhaust tips. There's nothing fake here. They are both real underneath the car there and there, just as it should be. Really, really fantastic. So, if this is so similar to a CX-90, where does it differ? Obviously inside. Let's take a look inside. Because there is not a third row to worry about, we have a lot more space. The CX-90 with the third row down offers 40 cubic feet of storage. I have a feeling that this is matching that or even a little bit better, but we don't quite have the figures yet. But as you can see, Mazda did provide some cargo to show us how easily it can fit these things. But better still, this is something that is definitely unique to the CX-70. You also have under cargo storage, so you have some pockets and space underneath the floor. And it's not just back here. There's trays, tubs almost, as you go farther forward in the cabin. And there's an even third one right after the second row seating. And yes, if you need more storage than this, that is incredibly easy to do. A couple pushes of a button, and you now have a lot more storage. In the CX-90, it's 75 cubic feet. Again, I have a feeling it's a little bit better here. So let's say at least 75 cubic feet of storage. All right, let's check out the second row. All right, I left the seats folded down so that I can show you that third underfloor storage. It is right there. So you can see that we've got these nice tubs underneath the floor. So if you want to secure something and have it hidden, it's easy to do that. All right, the seats do fold back up manually, but look at this very generous legroom we have because we only have 2 rows. I am 5'11" or 181 centimeters tall, and you can see that I have plenty of knee room right here. I also have nice and high seat bottoms, so I have great thigh support, and as a result, I have much less than a 90-degree bend in my knees. In the CX-70, just like the CX-90, you can get up to 3 zones of climate control. We also have 2 USB Type-C ports right there, and we have sunshades as well. Luxury. And of course, we do also get an armrest with cup holders, so come on, man. Lots of space and luxury up front as well. Of course, we do have the usual controls on the door right here, as well as this nice red leather trim and nice metal accents here. We also have these beautiful red seats here. This is a nod to the 100th anniversary 2020 Mazda MX-5, and I certainly don't mind that. You can see that we have the usual seat controls here, as well as lumbar support, always a good thing. We also have electrically adjusting tilt and telescope right here, and several buttons to the left of the steering wheel, including 2-position seat memory and a rear hatch release. Push button starts right here. This looks awfully similar to the Mazda CX-90 once again, and that has a 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster and another very widescreen 12.3-inch center console touchscreen. We do also have a head-up display right here and the first two of our 3-zone climate control. We also have heated steering wheel, heated seats, and beneath that, a wireless smartphone charger right here, couple of cup holders, Prindle right here, but this is just like the CX-90 where it's not straight down. You actually have to go to the right first to get to reverse neutral drive, and then to get it back in park, you have to push the button down and go back to the left. Beneath that, we do have an electric parking brake, and here is our command center for the center console touchscreen right here. Beneath that, we do also have the split opening lower center console right here, and a couple of more USB ports right there. Looking up, we have a sunglasses holder and a big old panoramic moonroof right here, and the controls for it are right here. The steering wheel itself has a nice thick rim and many controls on it on either side. A lot of media controls on the left, cruise control options on the right. We do have shift paddles, upshift on the right, downshift on the left, and we likely have an 8-speed automatic transmission, just like the CX-90. By the way, we are likely to get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto like before, but there is something that the CX-70 has that no other Mazda has had before, and that is Amazon Alexa voice control.
I don't have an answer for that.
Hey Alexa, set the temperature to 68 degrees.
Okay, setting it to 68.
Pretty interesting. And according to Mazda, this will work for not just temperature, but also radio, and you can connect it to your smart home devices as well. So that's a new and neat trick by Mazda. And I have to say that generally speaking, getting something that looks awfully similar to the CX-90 in size, but offers 2 rows of space to give much more generous space for those 2 rows is really compelling. And considering its size, the CX-90 drove phenomenally. So I am optimistic that this CX-70 will be just as good or perhaps even better. But more than anything, it's just really exciting to see Mazda expand its SUV lineup in a way that can still be driver friendly. And I'm really excited to hopefully get the chance to drive it one time soon. But for now, really grateful that Mazda gave me this opportunity to take a close look at their 2025 Mazda CX-70. Hope you found it interesting just like I did. I'm Robin Warner. Goodbye for now.